I've spent the last 6 months building strong habits that have made me a smarter, healthier, and happier person. Today, I thought I would walk you through the 6 top habits that I'm carrying from this year into the next and share some lessons learned along the way. One of the best habits I've adopted this year is waking up at 5:30 a.m. every single day during the work week. Now, I've known about the benefits of waking up early for a really long time, but I've never actually put it into practice. In fact, the only time I had really woken up before 6 a.m. was generally for travel. You know the feeling when you have an early morning flight and you need to wake up at 3 a.m. to get to the airport on time. I used to associate having to wake up early with that exact same feeling. But one day, I decided to just go for it and wake up at 5:30 a.m. just to see what would happen. The first day was definitely really hard, but honestly, within 3 days, I adjusted very quickly to the schedule, and I found that waking up at 5:30 gave me tons of time to work on all of my projects. For the first time in a long time, I found that I was waking up with excitement for the day. I truly felt like I had unlocked a magic secret when it comes to productivity and happiness. Waking up at 5:30 has also naturally made me sleep earlier, which is researched to have great benefits. I've personally noticed a huge reduction in overall stress and an increase in energy, and the 3 p.m. crash is virtually gone. Instead, I use that time to work out or do something creative. This single habit has also 10x'd my productivity because on most days I feel like I get 2 work days out of 1. If I can get myself to focus on deep work in the morning and get into a flow state, I find that I can get nearly double the amount of work done. I'll talk more about this in the next section where I discuss some productivity-related habits. The second best change I made to my mornings was eating a high-protein breakfast before my coffee. Now, I used to wake up craving a cup of coffee every single morning. If you're a coffee lover like me, you can probably relate to that sentiment. I would wake up craving that warm, delicious mug of coffee that I could sip on slowly while getting started with my day. And to be clear, there wasn't anything particularly wrong with this habit, but the only thing is I found that sometimes having the coffee so early in the morning would make me skip breakfast, and I would get this ravenous hunger around 10 a.m. and derail my entire day eating junk food because I hadn't taken care of breakfast. Having coffee on an empty stomach also generally made me more jittery, which would also make my work output a lot less coherent and make it really hard to come up with good ideas. I decided to switch things up and started incorporating a high-protein breakfast before any sort of caffeine. Usually for me, this includes something like a tofu scramble and toast or maybe a protein smoothie. But having a little bit of substance in my stomach before I drink the coffee has led to more clarity in my work and thinking process, along with allowing me to savor and sip my coffee slowly after breakfast. I found that this way my cup of coffee also lasts much longer, and I'm not really tempted to have the second cup of coffee now like I used to. And overall, I feel much better with the reduced cravings and anxiety. Moving on to some career and productivity related habits. The number one change I made here was tracking my work metrics daily. One of my biggest goals this year was to really grow my YouTube channel. However, in the past, I had no way of understanding how the work that I was doing was directly impacting the outcome of my work. That's when I created a daily work log in Notion where I track what I work on every single day and how it contributes to my overall goal of growing on YouTube. I've even included a spot where I can write how I'm improving by 1% every time I work. I've been consistently filling this out for the past 3 months, and I've noticed that simply being able to write down exactly what I did each day has been really crucial for evaluating whether the work I'm doing is actually leading me towards my goals or distracting me. And ever since I adopted this habit, my work has become more streamlined, more efficient, and more concise. And I truly think that this is the reason I was able to go from 150 subscribers back in October all the way up to over 1,000 subscribers as of today. I don't think that growth is coincidental. I think it has a lot more to do with this process of building consistency and also reflection and implementation. And I think this method can be applied to any goal that you have. I know for me, I'm planning on applying a similar method to a future goal of mine that I'll discuss in a future video. It's extremely important every day to be able to reflect back exactly on what you did and how you could be better, but also give yourself credit for the things you did accomplish. The second biggest shift I've made in my workflow is working in shorter sprints. I usually like to front-load my work week by working longer hours Monday through Wednesday and focusing on getting the hard creative work done during the sprint. Waking up at 5:30 and starting my workday by 7 makes this a lot more feasible. This has allowed me to slow down on Thursday and Friday, reserving those days for planning or more administrative tasks, or honestly, even just taking time off. I find that working in shorter sprints like this, instead of evenly distributing the effort during the week, is more sustainable for my personal work style. Onto some health and fitness related habits. So earlier this year, I was experimenting with the concept of microhabits, and I have a lot of videos on my channel talking about this. Basically, it's this idea of breaking down large habits into smaller, bite-sized chunks that are easy to integrate into your daily lifestyle. One of the things I wanted to really get on track with this year was working out. I challenged myself about 6 months ago to work out for just 10 minutes a day, and this ended up being pretty successful. So I decided to up the intensity and increase my daily workout goal to 15 minutes per day. The key here is I did not put any pressure on myself on what kind of workout this should be. So on some days, the workout could even be something as simple as just stretching. The point is, I wanted to get my body moving for at least 15 minutes every single day. And this has been a game changer because I've found that on most days I tend to work out way longer than 15 minutes. I've actually been tracking my workouts in this app, and as you can see, on most days I'm averaging well over 15 minutes, and I'm very happy with the decision to completely take the pressure off of doing hour-long workouts at a time for now. The irony is that once I told myself to do a 15-minute workout every single day, it somehow motivated me to do even longer workouts and overall be a lot more intentional with working out. This leads me into the final habit, which is eating 90% of my meals at home. I used to eat takeout almost every single night, but over the last 6 months, I have actively been working on building systems to help reduce this craving. I'll link my most recent video up here, which talks a little bit more in depth about how I was able to go from eating takeout almost every single night to now only eating it maybe once or twice a month. By integrating these small habits, I've really turned my life around in just 3 months. So if you found this helpful, please let me know in the comments down below, and also let me know if you have implemented any of these habits or if you would like a more detailed, in-depth video on any of the habits I talked about today. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day!